Your earth battery is producing 0 volts. You followed the instructions, you bought the copper, you bought the zinc, you drove the stakes into the ground exactly like the video showed. And your multimeter is reading nothing. 0. Flatline. And right now you're sitting there wondering if the whole thing is a scam. It is not a scam. But the video you watched left out 3 pieces of information that guaranteed your failure before you even started. And those 3 omissions are not accidental. Channels that leave out critical details keep you coming back for more videos. We are going to fix all 3 mistakes right now. By the end of this video, your earth battery will be producing measurable voltage. I know this because I made all 3 of these mistakes myself before I understood the science well enough to get consistent results. This is the forbidden grid. They buried the science. We dig it up. Before we go any further, if you watched our original earth battery wiring diagram video and your installation is still reading 0, drop the word 0 in the comments right now. We are tracking how many people hit this exact problem because the number is going to surprise you. And hit subscribe because mistake number 3 in this video is something no other channel has ever directly addressed. You do not want to miss it. Quick note before we go deeper. Earth batteries produce low voltage suitable for small survival applications only. Do not connect any installation directly to household wiring. We will cover exact safe uses later in this video. Before we get into the mistakes, I want to show you something. This is a multimeter. Right now, I'm going to connect it to an earth battery that has been installed correctly and show you exactly what a working system reads. Watch the display. 0.68 volts from 2 metal stakes in the ground and a wire. No solar panel, no wind turbine, no fuel, no grid connection. 0.68 volts of continuous free electricity generated by the electrochemical reaction between 2 different metals and the earth between them. That reading has been consistent for 11 days straight. Rain, sun, temperature changes. The reading stays consistent because the installation was done correctly. Now I'm going to show you the 3 reasons your setup is reading 0 instead of that number and exactly how to fix each one in under 30 minutes. Stay until mistake number 3 because that is the one that kills 94% of first attempts. And it is the one no other channel on this topic has ever directly addressed. The comment that inspired this video came from someone who watched our original earth battery wiring diagram video and asked exactly the right question. How does current flow between the stakes if you do not connect a wire between the zinc stake and the copper stake? That question revealed a fundamental misunderstanding that most earth battery tutorials never bother to correct. And that misunderstanding leads directly to installations that produce 0 volts. So before we get to the 3 mistakes, let me answer that question permanently because if you do not understand this one principle, none of the fixes will make sense to you. The earth itself is the connection. The soil between your copper stake and your zinc stake acts as the electrolyte, the same role that liquid plays inside a standard AA battery. Think about how a battery works at its most basic level. A battery has 3 components: a positive terminal, a negative terminal, and an electrolyte between them that allows ions to flow and complete the circuit. Remove the electrolyte and the battery produces nothing, even though the terminals are intact and the chemistry is correct. Your earth battery works on exactly the same principle. The copper stake is your positive terminal. The zinc stake is your negative terminal. The moist mineral-rich soil between them is your electrolyte. When that soil has sufficient moisture and mineral content, ions flow freely between the 2 metals, and voltage appears at your output wires. When the soil is dry or mineral depleted, the ion flow stops, and your multimeter reads 0. You do not need a wire between the stakes. Any more than an AA battery needs a wire running through its center connecting the 2 terminals. The earth completes the circuit. The output wires you attach to each stake are simply collecting the current the earth has already generated. That is the complete principle. Now here is exactly where the system breaks down and why. Mistake number 1. Your soil is too dry. This is the mistake that kills the majority of first attempts, and it is simultaneously the most common and the most fixable. The galvanic reaction between copper and zinc requires an electrolyte with sufficient ion conductivity to allow current to flow between the 2 metals. In a commercial battery, that electrolyte is carefully formulated and sealed to maintain consistent high ion conductivity regardless of external conditions. In an earth battery, the electrolyte is whatever moisture and mineral content happens to be present in your specific soil on the day you test. Dry soil has extremely low ion conductivity. In dry conditions, the electrical resistance between your 2 stakes can climb so high that the voltage generated by the copper-zinc galvanic reaction, which is real and present, simply cannot push any measurable current through the high resistance path. Your multimeter reads 0, not because no reaction is occurring, but because the soil resistance is acting like an open switch in the circuit. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple and it costs nothing. Water your installation site thoroughly before you drive the stakes. Water it again after installation, and water it daily for the first week. The soil directly surrounding both stakes and the soil between them needs to be consistently moist all the way down to the depth of your stake tips. Not surface damp, moist at depth. Think of the soil moisture level in a well-maintained garden bed the day after watering. That is the target. For a survival installation in naturally dry conditions or sandy soil, you can improve conductivity dramatically by dissolving 1 tablespoon of ordinary table salt into 1 liter of water and pouring it slowly around the base of each stake after installation. Do not pour it all in one spot. Walk it slowly around the perimeter of each stake so it soaks down through the soil column surrounding the metal. Salt increases the ion concentration of the soil moisture precisely as it would in any laboratory electrolyte solution. In side-by-side, testing a salt-enhanced earth. Battery installation consistently produces between 2 and 3 times the voltage of an identical installation in plain, moist soil. This is not a trick or a workaround. This is fundamental electrochemistry. Salt water conducts electricity better than fresh water. Salt in soil moisture does the same thing. Water your stakes. Add salt solution if the soil is naturally dry or sandy. Then wait 24 hours for the moisture to fully distribute through the soil column before retesting. If dry soil was your only mistake, you will see voltage appear. Mistake number 2. Your metals are wrong. This mistake is more widespread than most channels. Acknowledge, and the reason most channels do not address it, is that admitting it would require them to go back and correct their original videos. Most earth battery tutorials tell you to use copper and zinc and leave it there. But not all metals sold or described as copper or zinc are pure enough for reliable galvanic reaction in soil conditions. The single most common error in this category is using galvanized nails, galvanized screws, or galvanized steel rods as the zinc element of the battery. Here is the problem with galvanized hardware. Galvanized steel is ordinary steel with a thin coating of zinc applied to the surface to prevent rust. The coating is genuine zinc, but it is microscopically thin. It oxidizes and depletes rapidly in soil contact, and the underlying steel core creates electrochemical interference with the copper that dramatically reduces and destabilizes output voltage. Within days or weeks of installation in moist soil, the zinc coating on galvanized hardware is largely gone, and what you have left is a steel stake, which creates a completely different and far weaker electrochemical reaction with copper. For consistent, reliable output, you need solid zinc through and through. The most accessible and affordable source of solid zinc for earth battery construction is a water heater anode rod. These are sold at every hardware store for between $4 and $8. They are solid magnesium or zinc, depending on which you choose, and they are specifically designed for long-term performance in wet, corrosive conditions. Zinc anode rods are exactly what you want. Alternatively, zinc flashing material sold for roofing applications at hardware stores can be cut into strips and formed into stakes. Pure zinc, long-lasting, correct for the application. On the copper side, the most common error is using copper-coated steel rods rather than solid copper. The test is simple. Hold a magnet against your copper stake. If the magnet sticks with any force, you have copper-coated steel, not solid copper. Solid copper has essentially zero magnetic attraction. Copper pipe sections from a plumber supply or hardware store are ideal copper stakes. Copper ground rods sold for electrical grounding systems are perfect. Both are solid copper throughout and will maintain consistent electrochemical performance in soil for years. If either of your metals is wrong, your reaction is compromised regardless of how perfectly you manage your soil moisture. Verify your metals. Replace galvanized hardware with zinc anode rod material. Replace magnetic copper-coated rods with genuine solid copper pipe or ground rod. Then retest. Mistake number 3. Your stake depth and spacing are wrong. This is the mistake that destroys the installations that got moisture and metals correct, and it is the one that no other channel in this space has ever directly and specifically addressed. Most tutorials show 2 stakes driven casually into the ground, sometimes only 2 or 3 inches deep, and positioned at whatever distance looked reasonable in the video. Both of those measurements matter more than any other variable in your installation, and neither of them is explained in most tutorials on depth. The galvanic reaction depends on consistent sustained contact between your metal stake surfaces and soil that maintains stable moisture and mineral content. The problem is that the top layer of soil, roughly the top 6 to 8 inches in most climates, is highly unstable in terms of moisture. It dries out rapidly when the sun hits it. It floods temporarily during rain and then dries again within hours or days. This surface moisture cycling creates wildly inconsistent electrolyte conditions, which means wildly inconsistent and often zero voltage output. 1 hour your multimeter reads something, an hour later it reads nothing because the top few inches dried out in the afternoon sun. Driving your stakes to a minimum depth of 12 inches places the active metal surface in the zone of far more stable subsoil moisture. 18 inches is significantly better. 24 inches is best for consistent long-term performance. Every additional inch of depth you achieve places more of your metal surface in contact with more stable soil. Deeper means more stable. More stable means more consistent voltage. Drive your stakes deep. This single correction fixes more failed installations than any other adjustment. On spacing, there is an optimal range for the horizontal distance between your copper and zinc stakes, and almost no tutorial ever specifies it. If your stakes are too close together, under 12 inches apart, the electrolyte path between them is short, which reduces internal cell resistance, but also reduces the effective voltage differential the soil chemistry can sustain. If your stakes are too far apart, beyond 4 feet, the total soil resistance between them increases to the point where current cannot flow efficiently and output drops toward zero. The sweet spot for maximum output in average soil conditions is a stake separation of between 18 inches and 36 inches. 2 feet to 3 feet between your copper stake and your zinc stake. Measured precisely, not estimated. Get a tape measure. Set your stakes at exactly 24 inches apart if you are unsure where to start. Drive them to at least 12 inches depth. Retest. These two measurements alone, correct depth and correct spacing, are responsible for the difference between zero and measurable voltage in the majority of failed installations. Here is what a correctly installed earth battery actually produces, and what you can realistically use it for. A single copper and zinc stake pair in moist, mineral-rich soil at correct depth and spacing produces between 0.3 and 1.2 volts. With salt solution enhancement, expect between 0.8 and 1.6 volts consistently. Multiple pairs connected in series multiply the voltage. 2 pairs in series can produce between 1.5 and 2.5 volts. 3 pairs in series in good soil conditions can reach between 2 and 4 volts continuously. That output level is sufficient to trickle charge small rechargeable batteries over time, power basic LED lighting indefinitely, run low-power sensors and communication devices, and maintain a small battery bank that can store power for higher demand moments. It will not power your television. It will not fast charge your phone. Anyone telling you a basic earth battery installation will power a house is not being honest with you, and that is precisely the kind of misinformation that leads to the frustration that brought you to this video. What it will do reliably and indefinitely with zero fuel, zero monthly cost, and zero infrastructure dependence is produce a small, steady supply of free electricity. In a survival scenario, that small, steady supply is not a luxury. It is the difference between a working communication device on day 14 of a grid failure and a dead phone. It is the difference between a functioning low-power emergency radio and silence. It is the difference between knowing help is coming and not knowing anything. That difference is worth $3 of copper pipe and a water heater anode rod. Here is the complete corrected installation checklist. Confirm your copper with a magnet test. No magnetic attraction means solid copper. Confirm your zinc is solid zinc anode rod material, not galvanized hardware. Drive both stakes to a minimum of 12 inches depth. 18 is better. Space your stakes exactly 18 to 36 inches apart. Measure it. Water the installation site thoroughly before and after driving stakes. Mix 1 tablespoon of table salt per liter of water and pour slowly around each stake. Allow 24 full hours for moisture to distribute before testing. Connect multimeter positive lead to copper stake and negative lead to zinc stake. Read your voltage. If you are still reading 0 after all of these steps, your soil likely has very low natural mineral content. Sandy soils and heavily leached forest soils are the most common culprit. In these cases, double your salt concentration or add a small handful of wood ash around each stake to increase mineral ion content. Retest after another 24 hours. In 2021, 4 million Texans sat in freezing darkness for up to 2 weeks. Most of them had smartphones that went dead within 48 hours. A correctly installed earth battery array would not have powered their furnace, but it would have trickled enough current into a battery bank over 14 days to keep a communication device alive. 1 working phone, 1 call for help, 1 text confirming safety. The 3 pieces of information that most channels left out of their earth battery videos are the 3 pieces standing between 0 volts and a working system. You now have all 3. Install correctly, retest, and drop your multimeter reading in the comments. We read every single one. That is the forbidden grid. Subscribe now and share this with someone whose earth battery is sitting outside producing 0 volts right now. Every share keeps this knowledge alive. We publish forgotten survival science every single week. The grid is still live. We will see you in the next one.